Hi, this is Jason with 5 Letter Comics Collectibles coming at you with another toy comparison. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader compared to the Star Wars The Force Awakens Darth Vader. So the first thing we're going to do is take a close look at the packaging. Alright, so taking a look at the packaging, so these are obviously two different style packaging. We definitely have two different shapes. This kind of has like the little cone looking shape, and this is more of the square just packaging. But overall, I like both these packages. So this one obviously says Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. This just has the Star Wars logo, but this is from the Force Awakens toy line. Each one has a picture of Darth Vader. This is a nice artistic rendition of Darth Vader, and this is actually like a live action picture of Darth Vader. But overall, I mean, just looking at the picture in the package, you can see this one just looks, I guess, much more flowing. I mean, he's got, his cape looks really flowing, and this guy's more just straight up, real skinny looking. And it's just, as far as visually, when I look at the actual figures, I mean, this guy definitely pops. Now, this guy has a lot of good, really strong paint apps on him. You can see the silver in his like armor, his collar armor, much more than you can in this. But it just seems like this maybe has a little bit more detail when it comes to the cloak and the undercape. But both, you can see the lightsaber. This one seems in the package to be a little bit darker red or a little more brighter. And then this guy does come with an Imperial probe droid style gimmick that comes with the Force Awakens toy line. Alright, and taking a look at the back of the packaging. This Revenge of the Sith packaging, I just like it so much better on the back. I mean, it definitely shows all these different toys in the toy line. And it's just, I like that. I like that they show all those different toys. And you look over here, it just shows the 3 toys that would be used to build the little weapon or robot gimmick. And it just looks very bland when you look at it. I mean, yeah, it does show the characters, but this actually shows the figures and the representation, and it just looks much nicer. So as far as the packaging, I mean, the Episode 3 looks much nicer. But let's get these guys opened up. So comparing the two Darth Vaders, so we have the Force Awakens toy line Darth Vader on the left and the Revenge of the Sith on the right. And as far as the figures, they both are molded pretty good. I definitely like the head sculpts on both. I like the molding of the chest armor and the like the Iron Lung chest box. I mean, it's all molded really well, and I really like that. Same thing, the lightsabers are molded and look really good. They're very similar. I do believe that I think this one is a little bit brighter of a red, and it's also a little bit more fuller. It's got almost like that emission point, like right by the hilt, that gives it like the extra glow. And I think it just really comes down to the articulation of the figure and the overall detail. So the Force Awakens toy line one only has 5 points of articulation. You can turn his head, you can move his arms up and down, you can move his legs. And the Revenge of the Sith, you can actually move him at his shoulders. He's actually got a battle action, so if you squeeze his legs, he actually will swing his lightsaber which it's hard to do when he's on the stand. So he can move his arm here, here at the shoulder. He also has a articulation point at the glove here, also at the mid-arm, and he moves at the legs and the waist. And so he's got those extra points of articulation, and I think that's just much better of an action figure for posing and for playability. Now, some people might not like the battle action and the way his arm is, but because you really can't do any two-handed lightsaber poses, but you can't do that with the other one as well. They both have some kind of weird thing going on with their hands, where this one looks like he's got like a grip like this, and the other one's like this, the Revenge of the Sith. And I actually prefer the Revenge of the Sith one because you could actually put his hand out and it looks like he's maybe doing like a force, grab or push or something. But this one is just, I mean, the hand only goes straight out, so there's not really much you can do with it. And I don't like the way they did that. Detailing overall, there's really great detail in the pants here, and the problem with this one is just the molding and the way they designed the figure is just kind of crappy. The inner cloak is actually just molded onto his legs, so you don't get the extra, pop with the figure, as opposed to this one, which actually has a cloth inner cloak. And I think that's really, kind of just the story of these two figures. You have the Revenge of the Sith one that's just got a little bit extra on it. They both have these beautiful capes that are nice and big and flowing, but you can see on this one they just did that little something extra, and he's got that chain on his collar. They took that extra, went that extra mile. Now the paint on his collar armor is definitely much brighter of a silver on that, so I mean he definitely looks cool, but the way his articulation is, there's really no way to make him display his lightsaber or do anything other than just stuff like this. I mean, there's really not much you can do with that, and that just boils down to articulation. Now, the molding of the helmets are pretty close. This one's definitely a little bit bigger, the Revenge of the Sith one. I think if I had to give the Force Awakens one thing, one really strong positive, I think I might lean towards that one as far as the mold in the helmet. I think it might be done just a little bit better. But basically every other point of the figure would go to the Revenge of the Sith one, the one on the right. I think it's got more playability, more posability. They just spent more time with this figure. It doesn't have any articulation, or it has way more articulation than the other one. And its gimmick, I feel, with the slashing action, it's just better than the gimmick of the Force Awakens one, which is this little droid style guy that can combine and stuff. I think, I really don't think that's a great gimmick. Some people might like it. I just don't feel I like it. I think it's just a waste. I really would have liked if they would have, done away with that and either did something, battle action, or maybe, put a little bit more cloth in the figures for the Force Awakens toy line. Overall, I definitely think that the Revenge of the Sith one on the right is the much better figure. The articulation is much better. I think the detail in the figure and the extra cloth components just make it an overall better figure. Not to say that this isn't bad at all. This is a great starter Darth Vader. If for kids that can't get something else, this is a great start. I just think the articulation kind of sucks compared to the Revenge of the Sith one. And the Revenge of the Sith one obviously came out 2005. So I mean that figure is almost 10 years old, and it just seems like with these figures that they took a step back when it comes to this, and they kind of cut a lot of corners with the detailing on this guy. But both great figures. I just think if you had a choice between one or the other, I would go with the Revenge of the Sith one if you could find one. But like I said, if you can't, the other one's still a good option. But once again, this has been Jason with 5 Letter Comics Collectibles. Any questions or comments, leave in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.